Hello guys, how's it going? Today we're doing something a little different. We are doing a Architectural Digest home tour review of Sofia Vergara. I don't have to tell you guys that though because you already read the title. So let's dive into it. It's a bit of a different format. Let's see how it goes. I think it can be good to talk about design through home tours like this because it's sort of like a actual case study example where we can like talk about the ideas that I've been sharing. And I just want to say that like obviously most home tours on the internet are very, very wealthy celebrities. But that doesn't mean there aren't like lessons from them of things that you can do or not do in your own home to have a really nice interior design. I'm gonna try to like separate what is just like very, very expensive from like good and bad design principles, if that makes sense. And the reason I'm doing Sofia Vergara first is just because it's a pretty recent video from Architectural Digest and it's really popular. It has like 6.59 million views. Can you imagine? So I'm gonna talk about hers first. I like looked through it really quickly and feel like I have stuff to say about it just from my initial skim of the video. But if there's other home tours you guys would be interested to hear me talk about, comment them below, because if this goes smoothly and we all like it, I'll do more of these. So, okay, let's watch.
Bienvenidos a mi casa, ID. Good.
The home is obviously very beautiful. The quality of light and the architecture is like so nice to work with, but I have some comments on the interiors and furnishings and stuff, so let's dive in.
This is my dining room, my formal dining room. It's one of my favorite rooms in the house, definitely because of the detail. This amazing ceiling, it's all hand painted. And
okay, the ceiling of her dining room is obviously beautiful. The fact that that's like hand painted and like artistry is just makes it that much better. I think it's a really, really nice detail, and I love the idea of doing something like really interesting and unique on the ceiling. And in general, the architecture of the space is really nice. That being said, anyone who saw my video on lighting, look at that chandelier. It's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like such a wasted opportunity of using light in an interesting way by just having like bulbs out. And on top of that, the entire chandelier is very, very like ornamental and glitzy and decorative in just a pretty unnecessary way, I think. And also those light bulbs are shaped like flames, which is something I even talked about in my video. So I really, really hate that chandelier.
another one of the special details of the room is that tapestry is 18th century French. And I think all the colors bring together the whole mood of the room.
Okay, but that antique tapestry is absolutely amazing. I'm so impressed by it. And I think things like that are a really nice way to bring in like maybe a more traditional vibe into your space. You can tell that that's what she and her designer were going for. And I've talked about this a lot in my other videos, but I think it's really successful when it's done with antiques and historic pieces and art, and not contemporary pieces that are trying to look historic, like her chandelier or like this credenza buffet table under the tapestry. I don't want to like talk so much shit, but that doesn't look good. In general, I feel like throughout her house, she has a lot of like distressed and like washed out kind of gray toned wood furniture, but we'll talk about that more, I think.
And these cabinets are perfect.
Oh my God, did you see that the sconce on the wall also has those light bulbs? What is going on? There's so many better options for lighting.
And of course, another super important room is the kitchen. I'm Latin, so we love entertaining with...
Okay, the kitchen is nice and big and beautiful. I think it's really not doing anything risky with like the color or the design or the countertop material or anything. But again, those bar stools, they have that like really washed out, like bleached gray wood color. And it just looks really not nice to me, especially because her home has this really like more traditional Spanish language to it. I think that that architectural style looks really nice with like really rich, warm, authentic wood tones and not this kind of like washed out look, especially when you're putting it in like a cream beige white kitchen. I just think that there could be a bit more of a moment there. I'm also really curious about her floors. I don't know if she built this house or renovated it, but those floors look pretty like dated to me. I wonder if she put those in or they just left them. They really don't bother me that much. I think they're fine. And if they were existing, I also think you could work with them. But I'm really interested if she like chose that material and pattern on the floor.
Most of the room very comfortable. That was the idea when O'Hara and I decided to create all the little different rooms. But unfortunately,
also in the eating area, she has that like gray wood tone. It just doesn't look good. Here's my problem with gray wood. Even if it's real wood, as a material, wood is not a gray color. When you're staining it or treating it to look more gray, you're essentially mimicking wood that's like been like outside and weathered. I think a lot of people have it in their minds that like a gray wood is more neutral than like a natural toned wood, but I don't know, to me going for that look is just odd. I basically never like gray washed out looking wood. It doesn't look good. Obviously if it's vinyl, but also with like authentic wood pieces.
people still don't want to leave the kitchen. I love the counter, the white awnings.
The most glaring thing about this kitchen to me is the gap between the top of the cabinets to the ceiling. I don't know what caused the architect or designer to do that, but it looks very, very strange. In general, I think the top of your cabinetry is like such a delicate thing to deal with when you're designing a kitchen. I really like when it goes all the way to the ceiling and feels like really intentionally built into the space. But if you are going to leave a space, I feel like this is a really strange amount of gap to have because it's just this like shadow detail. Maybe it's intentional, I don't know, but it looks pretty funky to me. And in general, just that whole detail above the cabinetry of that like traditional look, I just don't think it's necessary. I think it's like dressing up the kitchen a little too much in my opinion. And I have to say, at least the lights over her island are not like those exposed bulbs like we saw in the dining room. But I do think the color of the outside of those shades, it just blends in so much with the kitchen. It's kind of leaving something to be desired. I don't know, the general vibe I get from this kitchen is just very washed out.
This magnificent stove is La Cornue. I don't know anything at all about it because I do not cook. I don't want to learn to cook.
I just love her so much. She's so cute. I'm literally the exact same way. My boyfriend does like 90% of the cooking for us. I'm not a cooking guy. This range is obviously like incredible, so nice. I'm sure it costs more than like the amount of money I've made in my lifetime. But I really wish whoever had designed the kitchen had kind of like used this as a focal point more. If you look at the cabinetry detailing above the range, it just looks like the rest of the kitchen. And I think that would have been a really interesting opportunity to sort of highlight this incredible piece, maybe with just a different paint color or a different material or just some sort of interesting detail that would sort of make that like stand out from the rest of the kitchen. Because then the whole kitchen would feel a lot less washed out as well. Like your eye would have somewhere to go.
Here we are at the family room, and way in the back is the formal living room. I love it because they all open
Another one of these chandeliers. She loves them. I hate them.
to the backyard, which is my favorite thing about the house. Every room opens to the pool.
Oh, this is interesting to see like the architecture of the house. First of all, I love how many windows there are, and it really does seem like every space is connected to the backyard. I love that. The facade itself is throwing me off a little bit because you can tell it's just like so deeply committed to being symmetrical. I wonder if that is like impacting the interior plan at all. I think a lot of times when a building has like a very strict order on the exterior, it comes at the expense of like the functionality of the interior. So I'm not usually a fan of that, but if you can make it work, I guess it's nice. Also this architectural detailing, the like window sills below the windows, they look like they're detached from the window to me. Maybe it's just how the light is hitting it, but it kind of looks like they're like offset from the bottom of the window. And if that's the case, that just feels really funny to me. Like they're just like tacked on in a random place. But in general, beautiful home for sure.
Also perfect that this room opens to the second floor where all the guest rooms are. So every time something is happening.
Okay, so first of all, the railings looking down into the family room from upstairs, I think they're a really nice example of like bringing in a bit of ornament to make it not feel like this like overly minimal, uncomfortable box. Just having that little detail on the railing, I think goes a really long way in a home like this. And the recessed can lighting here in this double height space, it feels very unnecessary to me. I'm curious if she ever uses it, but I feel like during the day there's so much lovely daylight here that you wouldn't need it. And at night, I imagine it to just be like very glaring. I'm talking about lighting a lot. Go watch my lighting video if you haven't, because a lot of the ideas are coming up. Also the chandelier here in the living room. I'm not going to repeat myself every time I see this, but it's a wasted opportunity to think thoughtfully about lighting.
Everybody can check out that they're not missing on stuff.
But wow, look at that skylight behind it. Amazing. I wish I was rich.
And here is where we have parties and where we sit to watch TV.
In general, the family room feels really cozy. You can tell this is a really like pretty massive house, but it still feels really nice. Like you could totally like hang out there and be cozy. I think in general, the designer really succeeded in making this house feel like livable and warm and nice to be in.
And where all the drama happens.
Okay, something about the composition of this wall in the family room is really throwing me off. I think it's a few things going on here. The coffee table is not in line with the fireplace, which just kind of like irks me. And then you have like this distressed wardrobe, which I don't love, on the left of the fireplace, and this piece of art on the right, and they're all the same height, the TV, the wardrobe, and this art. And I don't know, something just feels off. I can't totally explain it. I think they maybe should have gone with like a little bit of asymmetry to balance it out better. I think it would have been nicer if you're gonna have a tall wardrobe on one side of the fireplace, to not have something that's like visually so tall and strong on the other side. I think it would just feel a little bit better, like compositionally. I almost feel like they're kind of falling into this trap that a lot of people fall into of like thinking that you need something on every single wall, like being so afraid of just having an empty wall. And here that's like really kind of shouting. Also, again, that piece of furniture under the art on the right, it's like not a nice looking piece. She has all of these pieces and I don't think that they're actually vintage and distressed, and it's just really not for me. I don't know, that like gray washed out wood or like distressed wood. Maybe have like one or two pieces in your home, but it feels like almost every piece of furniture she has this vibe to it, and it's just starting to feel really overdone. And again, in general, the wood tones in the family room, like if they were like richer and warmer, I think it would just feel a lot more balanced. I think this house is lacking a lot of contrast. Like in this shot here, just seeing that painting in the back, which has like rich color and tone to it, I would love to see more of that throughout the room. Like this side table or the coffee table, and in general, just like more furniture pieces that are standing out a bit more, because right now it's feeling very gray, beige, like washed out, pastel-y. Also, this side table next to the sofa, I really dislike. Whenever pieces of furniture have like curved legs like that, it just really bothers me. I don't think it looks nice, and I just wish it looked more like this. Something with like more normal legs, something that's not trying to like dress up to be something more than it is. Does that make sense?
I kind of like started collecting crystal birds because I love birds and I love crystals. And then when I learned that they existed together, I was like, oh my God, that's like my favorite thing now.
I love that she collects crystal birds. I think that's amazing, and like so her.
Fernando Botero, one of the most amazing, prolific artists in Colombia. and in Latin America. And I always dreamed of having one. And I still have that picture when he came out in a newspaper in my hometown in Barranquilla. And then last year I got the real one.
I love that she has this like cultural connection to the art in her home. And I think that that's not an idea that's like reserved for celebrities with a lot of money or very wealthy people. Caring about the art in your home and having a connection to it is really, really wonderful in my eyes. So even if you can't afford really expensive art, maybe you have art that like a friend made or even like your child painted or framing something that you have a connection to. In general, I think it's really lovely to fill the walls in your home with things that you care about and not just things that you think are like bringing aesthetic value. So I wouldn't go to Etsy and like download a digital print like this. And I definitely wouldn't buy like mass-produced art from a big box store. I would think pretty carefully about what you're going to hang in your home, and hopefully you can find something that's unique to you and you have a connection to.
Important corners of the house. Where are you? Here. Is where happiness lives.
Okay, this really surprised me and it's pretty strange to me. I love the idea of like a built-in hidden bar, but the fact that they dressed it up and made it look like a piece of furniture, like it looks like a wardrobe that's like just a few inches deep. I feel like that's really odd and also kind of a wasted opportunity. Like they could have taken this wall and thought really creatively about the material. Like the bar looks like it's aligned with the ceiling below the second story. I just think that there could have been a more like architectural way to address this and not like pretending it's a piece of furniture, if that makes sense. This is kind of similar to what I said about the cabinetry around the range in the kitchen. Moments like that when you're building or renovating a house are the best opportunities to do something architecturally interesting. So letting those like special moments inform the language of the architecture is really nice in my mind.
This outdoor area is an extension of the house, which is to me the most special place in the house because of the energy.
Gosh, look at that ceiling detail. That is so, so, so nice. I love when architects do creative things like that on the ceiling.
Energy, the colors. I drink coffee here. I bring my lunch in here. I bring my friends, meetings.
Okay, this backyard garden is absolutely insane. I'm like insanely jealous. This seriously feels like a 5-star resort and I would love to live here. I think anyone would. She says that she loves this outdoor space next to the house the most. And that makes a lot of sense to me because it's a transitional space. When you're designing a building, the space between interior and exterior is really important. Whether that's at like the front entrance to a building or like the connection to a backyard or a garden or a balcony or anything. Thinking about that kind of like threshold transitional space and giving it a lot of respect and credit is always a really good idea. And if you're in like a more moderate or temperate climate, people love to occupy like edges and transitions like that. So yeah, think about it. If you're maybe redoing your backyard or something, I think that this idea can be applied on a lot of different scales at a lot of different budgets. But soften the transition.
We decided to pick the plants, whatever was going to be created in the hill. There was nothing in the hill when I got the house.
This landscaping is so nice. I think I really just need a villa in Southern California. Nice daylight and such a airy, nice feeling. I love those doors going out to the balcony. But again, they went crazy with all of this gray wood furniture. It really bums me out. I do really love how she has this like tiny mirror above the fireplace. I think that's like a very fun composition and not such an obvious choice.
I love this bedroom. It's super cozy. It's a lot of light that comes in the morning. It's perfect.
Oh, it's also very strange that the like TV and dresser are not aligned with the bed. It's probably because they needed that like very strict symmetry on the exterior. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. It makes the inside feel like a little off. I don't know, that would really bother me. I'm sure that there was no other way to space plan the room if she wanted a TV, but I That feels kind of weird and uncomfortable. I just feel like it's very important to think about the like grids and layout of your space plan, because things like that just feel a lot better when they're aligned.
Well, and that's not any fireplace. It's from the Waldorf Astoria in New York, and it was something special the designer O'Hara and me wanted to bring into the room.
This fireplace is so beautiful. I don't know, just like if it were me, I think letting the material speak for itself in a fireplace more like this would just be like that much more sophisticated and nice, if that makes sense. But I know my ideas around modernism and ornament are pretty radical, so I'm really not that offended by this fireplace. I think it's really wonderful. And just the idea of having a fireplace in your bedroom is like, okay, you've made it. That's so nice.
Everything that was wrong with the house.
Oh, but look at that. We have our first pendant that is not a glitzy chandelier with exposed flame-shaped bulbs. So that brings me a lot of joy. I think that's a pretty cool light fixture, and I really like the light that it's giving off. So good work there. Oh my god, you guys. You guys, the bathroom. Also the sconce by the mirror and also the chandelier. They need to calm down. It's like, okay, maybe have one in your home, but there's other kinds of lighting.
The most beautiful bathroom I have in the house. I think the combination of colors, the beige and the gray, is like really unexpected. It's perfect. I mean, look at the view. Look at the bathtub, the view from the bathtub.
Wow, look at the view from the bathtub. That's an absolute dream. I really like the little stool she has there by the window, but something about the scale of it feels a little off to me. I think it could probably find like another home in the bathroom that's not right there. I don't know if that's just how they styled it for the shoot or whatever. And again, you can tell that this was like their material palette throughout the whole house, but they have that like gray, unnatural wood tone for the vanity. It's just really not working for me. I think throughout this whole house, if they had used like really warm wood tones, I think it would complement that like traditional Spanish vibe in such a nice way. So that's a little bit of a letdown. But in general, what a good bathroom, wow.
And this is where I actually really live.
Wow. It always blows my mind how many shoes celebrities have. I have like 4 pairs of shoes, and I'm like a scrubby boy in my 20s, but still, wow. Obviously, this closet is like amazing for storing all of her amazing clothes. Again with the lighting though, I know I talked all about this in my lighting video, so if you don't know what I'm talking about or why I'm so bothered by these, go watch it, but there's just so many better things you can do with lighting than like dressing up some exposed bulbs. So that's definitely disappointing. But in general, this closet is very well designed and absolutely insane.
All this stuff in the counter is very special for me. This is something that I bought at an antique shop in Paris. And this is a picture of my brother.
This is such a small critique and could be fixed in like 10 seconds, but when you're styling something that's in the center of a room, like a table, or how she has this like built-in surface, I think it's a little strange to put like a picture frame or any decor element that has like an obvious back to it, because you can see all sides of it, so it just feels a little off. It's really amazing that she has these photos that mean so much to her in her closet, but just from like an aesthetic styling point of view, I would really try to use objects more like the flowers in the vase, or even her like trays with perfumes and stuff, things that look nice from any angle, because when you can see the back of like a picture frame or another decor element, I think it just doesn't feel very good or look very nice. So such a minor critique. I might not even leave that in the video. It's like really annoying to say.
Bye, Edith. Thank you for coming.
Okay, that was the whole video. In general, such a nice house. The daylight and the backyard and that like outdoor space are incredible. I just feel like they went a little too hard with the gray wood and like distressed traditional wood pieces. And also all of those chandeliers with those like exposed light bulbs. They just bug me so much. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Did we like this? Do we like a home review? Let me know, because I can do more. I had fun doing this. I think it's a pretty helpful way to like see an example of the ideas I'm talking about, rather than me just like monologuing and showing you photos from Pinterest. I'm still gonna do those videos, don't worry, but this is kind of like a fun, different format, right? I don't know. Anyway, if you watched this whole video, thank you very much. I reached 10,000 subscribers this week, which I feel like is kind of a lot for how many videos I've made, which is really exciting and a lot of fun. So thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't, and that you show your support by liking and commenting and all of that. And comment other homes that you want me to review, because I will do that. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So I'll see you next week.